Welcome to the Hoop Bar. I will be your host today, the Gons. A lot of stuff has transpired since we last talked. First of all, I hope you fellas are drinking. I got Sam Adams Oktoberfest special edition here drinking. And I'm also drinking, I'm chasing it with Proper 12, which is a mighty fine whiskey for $19. With that being said, if any of you Proper 12 or Sam Adams want to sponsor me, I'm more than welcome to more alcohol. So let's get down to business. First of all, how have you guys been? Let's start with Big Matt. What's cracking in Irvine, man?
Big Matt's doing okay, doing all right, hanging in there. How you doing, David?
Doing great. Just working on my tan these days. And how you doing, Ro?
All right, we're popcorning it. I'm doing good. No complaints. I'm home in Texas. All good. Yeah. How about you, Amit?
I owe you an apology, man. At first, I thought it was a small shirt, and then I'm looking at you again, and you look good. You look good.
I only wear large, my friend. I only wear large.
So I wasn't able to see you when you were in town. But
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good.
I appreciate
you look
it.
good. So I'm gonna have to step my game up a little bit.
There you go. If that's what it takes, that's great.
Today was training camp for a lot of teams, and I want to start with this. It's a game I called Big Deal or No Deal. Jokic came out from Serbia, said he hadn't dribbled a basketball in 2 months. Now, when Anthony Davis said this a couple seasons ago, he was ridiculed, ripped apart. Is it a big deal or no deal that Jokic, former MVP, hasn't touched a ball in 2 months? Let's start with you, Rahul. What do you think about that?
It would be a big deal for anybody else. But here's the thing. A couple years ago, it wasn't a big deal for Luka, and then he got exposed, right? And then now people kind of give him that, what they give everybody else. Every other superstar is scrutinized for their conditioning and how well they're ready to play the regular season, except for Luka. And now Luka doesn't get that pass because last season he did get that criticism. But as far as Joker, man, back-to-back MVPs, coming off of an NBA championship, I don't agree with it, but if he feels like he can dominate the sport with the way he is, then I can't really argue against that because it seems like he's not in shape, but yet he dominates.
D. Briggs, a penny for your thoughts here. Should I say a beer for your thoughts? Mamba would not stand for this. What do you think, Harry? You think it's fine that he took a couple months off, or you think he should have been in the gym, working out, staying in shape?
As a Laker fan, I love it. For Denver fans, probably something to worry about. But I mean, he's not even an athletic player anyway, so I probably wouldn't worry about it. I mean, that's kind of his game, just chilling. He just be down there just, owning up the paint. I think
it's not a big deal. It's like Nikola Jokic. He's been this size. He's been that way for forever. Plus, they just won the championship, so he gets the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say, like with Anthony Davis, he was coming back at it when he said those comments. I believe they had just lost in the first round. They didn't even make the playoffs. So with Anthony Davis, he wanted to see him in the gym working out, but then with Nikola Jokic, like if they had lost last year and him not working out, he just this whole off season, he just wanted to go see his horses, right? That was the big thing. He wanted to go party in the nightclubs. We saw that, and he wanted to go see his horses. So he enjoyed himself, and now this is work for him, and he's back for work on a Monday. Like he looks so excited to come back to work on a Monday.
He did.
It was
right?
Such a cool little clip. Yeah, that was awesome.
All right, Matt. Well, let's pivot to the next topic here, man. The Lakers had a pretty good showing today. Austin Reed, D'Lo, both said that Jalen, hope I'm saying that right, balled out today and looked phenomenal. Is this a big deal or a no deal? And to piggyback off that, Darvin Ham said Christian Wood, very positive and communicating really well on defense, mainly playing against Anthony Davis with the understanding that he will get to play side by side. Is this a big deal or is it a no deal? Because it's the first day of training camp.
Jalen Hood-Schifino will be a valuable player in about 2 to 3 years. This team is set up to win the championship this year. He was 17th pick in this past draft. Usually, those type of players will take a few years to develop. Once you have LeBron gone, you have a bigger point guard he could use for the future to take over for D'Lo potentially if he's traded away. So it's good to see that the veterans on the team are giving him some props and getting him some respect, some confidence as we come into training camp. But it's not really that big of a deal, honestly.
So, David, Matt thinks they're gassing him up, man, and gas is expensive these days. And are they gassing him up here, or can a 17th pick come out and be phenomenal? I mean, we've seen undrafted players be phenomenal. What are your thoughts here? You think big deal or no deal that they shouted him out on the first day of training camp, saying that he really stood out and played really well?
That just tells me that the chemistry is real good between the guys, so they're keeping a positive vibe. I think the expectations are not high, so of course, for who he is and what he is right now, the situation, he's doing great, so that's a good thing. And with Christian Wood, he's come out to say he would like to be with the Lakers long term, so he's going to do his best to prove himself. That way, just in case the Lakers don't pick him up, he can earn a good payday next season.
I do agree with you there. I think Wood has a lot to play for. Raul, is this a big deal or no deal? Based on he's learning from LeBron, who's arguably the GOAT. Can he be an impactful player? Can he be an all-star? Is it possible? What are your thoughts about him showing out?
This out, Matt, if AI lets you. But yeah, Gons, I didn't watch Jalen Hood in college. I'm not a big college follower as some of you other guys. But yeah, if that's what they're saying, I have 100% confidence in the Lakers' draftability recently. Even Max Christie, I don't know if they drafted him directly or traded for him, but I expect him to get next minutes, a little bit more minutes this year compared to other years. But I'm just excited. I think to Matt's point, this is going to be a championship team. So doubt that he gets a lot of minutes. I'm just excited about the amount, going back to your Christian Wood reference, the amount of lineups that we can put on the floor with the amount of size, and really size that is all capable of not just making plays, but stretching the floor. I mean, whether you look at Rui, Tayshaun Prince, not Tayshaun, Tari.
Taurean Prince.
Taurean Prince, not Tayshaun. Taurean Prince stretches the floor. I've seen him play. Him plus Rui plus the other forwards that we have with Hood, with the amount of lineups we can do is endless. I'm more excited about that. I think they can play together on the floor, Wood and Davis. It would be nice to have Davis at the 5.
Shout out to Tayshaun Prince, who, fun fact, me and Rahul worked out with his cousin at LA Fitness in Cerritos.
Were you there?
I've never been so sore. That was a pretty cool moment. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. I do remember that.
Now, let's get on to our next topic, guys. I'm going to say some names, and I'm going to start with you, David. Jay Crowder, Giannis, Robin Lopez, Pat Connaughton, Chris Middleton, Cameron Payne, Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis, Malik Beasley, Damian Lillard.
Talk to me.
That's a pretty damn.
That's a team, bro. That's a team.
That is a fantastic lineup. All right, let's. Are they the favorite now? Are they the clear favorite? And why? Why the heck did Giannis not sign the 3-year extension? He said he wanted a winning team. They went out and got him Dame time. He still doesn't want to sign the extension. Is he tired of Milwaukee? Is he tired of going to restaurants where they don't even know his name? I mean, is he ready to come to a better weather? I don't know. I mean, if you got 3 years, 180, he could have signed and asked to be traded if he wasn't happy, but he would not sign the extension. It boggles my mind. I want to hear your guys' thoughts about that. David, why don't you go first here?
You named a bunch of guys that can shoot the ball and defend the game. So I think they're the clear favorites, in my opinion. I said that even the last episode that they were. But damn, they just got another offensive option. I know he's not great on defense, but they got a lot of players surrounding him that can do that for him. And then he also mentioned that he's going to be a better defender, that he's gotten better each season. So he will commit to being a better defender also. Yeah, they're my favorites.
What about you?
Yeah, as you guys know, they were my favorites before, and this just definitely makes them better. For all the reasons you listed, look around in the Eastern Conference. Let's look at Miami. How do they improve their size from last year? How do they improve their like second person when they need a bucket. I'm sorry, Jimmy Butler is not getting enough. What's the word? He's just not getting enough negative press for his poor playoff performance and finals. Even in beating the Celtics, like he would shut down in the fourth quarter, afraid to shoot in a couple of moments, and I've never seen that from him. So who's going to take those shots? Is Tyler Hero ready? I don't know. Forget the Heat, right? The Celtics. I don't personally believe in leprechauns or unicorns. I do believe in holidays. I think holidays are important, and I think holidays are great. But tell me, how do you survive if you lose Robert Williams, you lose Grant Williams, and now you're relying on Porzingis to give you 84 games or 82 games at that position and that size to go up against literally the juggernaut of guys that you just listed off, Gons? Portis, Robin Lopez, Brooke Lopez, Giannis, Middleton's a tall guy. There's other guys I just missed that can all stretch the floor. They're going to have chances to get rebounds. As far as I'll be quick. I'll give Big Matt a turn. As far as the fit, look, what does Giannis struggle with? Giannis struggles with in the fourth quarter of game 6s and game 7s with 4 minutes to go. The defense wants him to shoot. He wants to force. The refs are not calling everything as they do in the regular season. Giannis turns the ball over. Giannis makes bad mistakes, doesn't get all the calls he wants. What does Damian Lillard do with all of that? He just stretches that floor out to 35 feet. Imagine a pick and roll starting way out there, and now you're left with Giannis in the lane on a 3-on-1 or a 3-on-2 with Beasley in the corner. The Bucks are going to be lethal if they can stay healthy. The Bucks are going to run away with the East. I do not believe in the Celtics, and if you want to touch on them, we can talk more. But I do not believe in them still, even after Jrue Holiday.
We'll talk about them next here briefly. Matt, why don't you wrap up this topic? What's with Milwaukee? What are your thoughts about the changes they made to their roster, and are they the clear favorite more than ever? And why isn't Giannis signing the contract?
I think they're still the clear favorites. I think I saw it on TikTok the other day. It was even after Jrue Holiday went to the Boston Celtics, I still view the Bucks as the favorites. You're looking at that pick and roll between Giannis and Dame. That's gonna be nearly unstoppable. As unstoppable as LeBron and Anthony Davis, because you can't double Dame, can't double Giannis. What are you gonna do? So between that and the shooters that Rule and David already provided, or that they've already named off, that team's going to be absolutely lethal. The only thing they're really missing is a point of attack defender, which you really don't need in the Eastern Conference, because the only really good point guard you're looking at was old James Harden, and now Tyrese Maxey, and that's pretty much it that you have to worry about for the contender. So I believe the Bucks are the clear favorites coming into this upcoming season.
All right, here's a couple other names: Jalen Brown, Jrue Holiday, Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, Peyton Pritchard, Jason Tatum, Derek White. That's a pretty good squad too. I get it, FTC, it's Boston. Well, we're Laker fans here, but briefly touch on what Jrue Holiday does for the Celtics. He definitely adds some value. Raul, why don't you? I know you said you do believe in the holidays, so tell me about this holiday.
I do. I believe in Jrue Holiday, right? Just from a guy that's smart. I mean, they got a lot. Like they got rid of Smart, and he's a smart player, but he's rough around the edges. But they got a guy that is a locker room presence that's not rough around the edges in Holiday. Very a champion, right? And championship pedigree as far as experience deep into the playoffs. That's going to carry over well. He doesn't need to play a lot of minutes. You guys saw the Derek White kind of take a next step. He'll get a bigger role with Smart gone. I think that's big. So I think they're really great at that forward and guard position. And I think they'll be a really great team in that sense. But I think, again, when the regular season, they might be second or they might be shooting for that first spot. But when the playoffs come, how healthy is Porzingis going to be? Who's your backup? Al Horford? How old is he? 55? How about your forward, your next forward? You're looking at the depth chart after Porzingis. O'Shai Brissett. I like him. Trust me, I've actually had him a couple times on my fantasy team, and he cost me the championship against Tam 2 years ago because I dropped him. He picked him up. He got 5 blocks. I will never forget. But this guy is good. 36 minutes per game. He averages about 15 and 8 or 13 and 8, depending on the season, right? But that's your second option after Porzingis. Like Al Horford is your other kind of next to Porzingis. Like, so really quick, I'll wrap up. I was listening to what's his name, Brad Stevenson's after the trade, after Jrue Holiday trade, and someone asked, "How are you going to address now missing Robert Williams?" He said that there's guys on his team that don't get a lot of appreciation in the past in the NBA. We feel good about those guys. He's talking directly about O'Shea Brissett. So that guy's going to get more minutes, and I know he can do well when he gets those minutes. That's a prediction. But it's not enough to go against the other teams in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. Just the front court and the center. So I'll pass that on.
Matt, why don't you go next here, man? What's the impact of them getting Jrue Holiday? You know, is this a clear, defined Eastern Conference matchup between Milwaukee or not?
I remember a time when the Blazers were the 3rd seed and the New Orleans Pelicans were the 6th seed. This was maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. And Jrue Holiday locked Dame up. I believe they swept them in that series. So with Jrue Holiday as a point of attack defender on Dame, that's the reason you get someone. That's why they traded so much as more of a response for Damian Lillard going to the Bucks. So he's going to be a really pivotal player against them. But Raul's right. They traded away Time Lord. That was their center. That was their big guy in the center. Like, you're going to try to defend Robin Lopez, Brooke Lopez, Giannis with Porzingis. Yes, Porzingis is good, but then you have 3 guys coming at you as opposed to 1. So the numbers game is going to matter there. They're going to be the 2nd seed in the East. I don't see the Sixers. I don't see the Pacers. I don't see the Bulls beating the Celtics, but the Bucks can. Outside of the Jrue versus Dame matchup, you still have Giannis. That Giannis versus a Tatum Brown. That's kind of what you're looking at.
David, why don't you wrap us up here? What did getting Jrue Holiday do for the Celtics? How do you feel like it's going to impact the team, and where they end up at the end of the season?
I don't really think he's like the biggest upgrade over Smart. I mean, he is a better defender slightly. I mean, I think mostly you got to see who they lost is both Williams. So a lot of their defense down in the paint is gone. Porzingis he can give you blocks, but are you really gonna depend on him for that defense? That's my biggest worry about it.
Okay, guys, let's move on here. Me and Matt have been having this topic here for a while. Raul, did you have something to say?
I was just wondering, what do you guys like? It sounds like the Bucks are the favorites, but who wins out of the Heat and Celtics now? Like, if that matchup again, right? The Heat didn't add anybody, but the Celtics added Jrue Holiday. So who wins out of those two?
Celtics easily.
Celtics.
Well, Heat won,
yeah,
right?
convincingly, yeah. I would say. Matt, what?
Yeah, Celtics. That's a sweep for our panel, but yeah, it won't be a sweep. But yeah, the Celtics should beat the Heat.
So Celtics are clear number 2. Yeah, I agree too. Okay, go ahead. Cons.
Yeah, that starting 5, you got a lot of offense.
And I feel like,
and Derek White's really good too,
for sure. And I feel like, I don't know if you've seen Angels in the outfield, but I feel like Jimmy Butler was going through Angels in the outfield moment where there was some angel carrying him, because I don't think he balls like that on the regular. Props for balling out in playoffs for that limited stretch until he went cold.
Yeah.
But I don't see it happening again. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I definitely don't see it.
I thought they would have addressed that. I thought they would have gotten him a playmaker. Kyle Lowry's getting older and older.
Yeah.
Tyler Hero has not filling in the blank. So
100%.
who's that
and
guy
they
to
paid
help
Duncan
him?
Robinson, and he's, after he got paid, he's been a little bit of a no-show. But Tyler Hero did have a good season after struggling the year before. So we'll see how he develops his game.
I think they put all their chips into Dame coming, so that didn't work out. So they kind of got stuck with what they had.
Now, me and Matt have had a debate, and I think Raul has been brought on this. I don't know, and we'll bring you in now, David. I'm going to ask you, David, because you haven't been a part of this conversation. Who's America's football team, in your opinion?
I'll be honest, I'm not a big football fan, but being that I go for the Rams, we all know it's the Cowboys.
Okay, there you go. For someone that doesn't even watch football, he knows it's the Cowboys. David, who is America's baseball team?
As a Dodger fan, you gotta say the Yankees.
Exactly.
Keeping it real.
Okay, clear. defined. Now, from being in Vegas, from traveling, I travel often. And I've noticed that the fan craze that I've seen is for Warriors everywhere I go. Like, my debate is now, and I know you guys are all, I'm a Laker fan, I get it, but the Lakers are not America's team. It's the Warriors at this point in time. So I want to piggyback off that. You don't have to agree with me. I understand. I know Matt believes it's the Lakers, and Raul also believes it's the Lakers. David, you probably do too. But since 2015, 27 games have had over 14 million viewers. Viewers mean money, in essence. One common denominator in every game, David, is Steph Curry. He's in every one of those games. You got kids playing in the park, shooting threes. You have minorities who've never watched basketball watching basketball. So my question to you is, and we'll start with you, David, are the Lakers still America's team, or is it the Golden State Warriors? Or if it's not the Warriors, who do you think it is?
Lakers all day.
And that's not just a Laker fan. That's
17 titles.
Laker fans are stubborn. They're stubborn. They are very stubborn. But that's your truthful answer. You believe it's the Lakers. They are America's team. America across the United States will watch a Lakers game over a Warriors game if they're both on.
Yeah, so whenever you see the Lakers travel to other cities, what other jerseys do you see in the stands? Do Warriors have that same effect?
I believe so. I believe when Kobe played, no. But I believe so at this point. I think there are a lot of LeBron fans, a lot. But I don't think that means they're Laker fans.
I think there's a bunch of Curry fans. I wouldn't say they're Warrior fans.
But Curry's been with the same team the whole time, making it a little bit different than LeBron. But
so I could say there is, so I think the stat here is that last year, I guess I'm just looking at the first half. I don't know what it looks like 10 years, but I would see similar. But Curry outsold LeBron last year in the first half, but the Lakers outsold the Warriors. And I think that's the answer. It's just that Curry is relatable to the average basketball player, casual or
in a young generation,
younger generation. And again, he's 6'1", not 6'7", 280. He's 6 foot, 180, whatever it is, right? That's more relatable. He shoots the three. We all love it. So I think all of that gives them the popularity. But as soon as he's gone, it's the Lakers. Whether it's LeBron, it's Kobe, it's Shaq, whether it's Wilt, it doesn't matter. The Lakers are always up there because they're international, like Manchester United. So I that's why my argument for the Lakers and the team sales say the Lakers team sales are higher than it's Lakers first. That was last year, Warriors, and then Boston. But yes, Steph Curry draws in a lot of casual fans, and I get that. He's fun to watch.
So
all right, hold on, John.
Is it definitive for you two? Or is it the Lakers are the team right now, but the Warriors are right there?
They're right there, but there's gonna go as far as Curry's gonna take them. As soon as he's gone, who's watching the Warriors?
Right. Who's retired in them stands for for Golden State?
Like, Mitch Richmond.
Can the average fan really state those other past players?
I think we're being a little bit nostalgic, and that's the Laker fan in us. Matt, why don't you wrap us up here?
Well, that's the whole point, though, right? As if you're America's team, there's a legacy.
We have a large legacy.
Exactly. The Lakers go back to the 50s, or George Mikan all the way through Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Shaq, Kobe, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. There's a legacy there. With the Warriors, it's like Rick Barry, and then we liked Bobby Sura if you're a white girl in the late 90s to early 2000s, and then Steph Curry, right? Unless you like Anton Jameson, it's a legacy for the Lakers. It's just they've been good for so long. Like even with football, Gons was when Tom Brady was on the Patriots. Were the Patriots America's team? No,
they came close. They came close.
There was never even a chance, I believe, that they were America's team. I think it's always been definitively the Cowboys. It's always been definitively the Yankees. I think with our generation getting older and the younger generation watching basketball more, and a lot of us older fellas, I'm not saying we're dinosaurs, but with that being said,
Okay,
All
then
that, all those
it's
players from the
let's
80s,
let me ask
70s,
one more question though. If the Chiefs with this Taylor Swift happening with the Chiefs and Travis Kelce are right now the Chiefs America's team?
No, I think that's the Chiefs fan in you, man.
Well, no, that's the thing. With Curry and Mahomes are basically the same when it comes to their popularity when
Yeah.
it comes to NBA and when it comes to the NFL. They're both exciting players with championships, and they're currently right now like the most popular players in the league. I guess with
Yeah.
Curry and LeBron and kind of go, but you
But-
wouldn't call the Chiefs because I know they don't have a legacy.
Chiefs
Been
will
a Chiefs
never
fan
be
for 30
America's
years.
team because
Exactly.
they're in Kansas City. They're in Kansas City.
And San Francisco is even
Exactly.
better. At least Kansas
San
City,
Francisco
Missouri
is
is
a
in the.
major metropolitan city.
Here's the
Just
and
like
that's
Los
what it is.
Angeles, just like Dallas, just
And
like
that's what it
New York.
is. And that's what it
Think
is. It's the perfect combination that they're in a major market that just happens to be in very Asian, with an Asian majority. A lot of people from China that moved there to San Francisco as well. A lot of people that buy homes there, and so that automatically, just like it did for Kobe, takes Steph Curry on a whole nother international platform. But what I'm saying, and I think what we're all saying, is that yes, the Warriors are great, and he's carrying them as far as he could. But here's that Laker like legacy of America's team, and whether it's not officially said, like it's there with 17 championships, and he's just carried them as close as he can. But ultimately, it dies with him because the Warriors, even if he's built this legacy, they need that next superstar maybe then, but the Lakers have had that superstar every decade.
And even as an international brand, the Lakers are just head and shoulders, even over a lot of the football and baseball teams. Like the Philippines, in response to Austin Reeves, he was even close to being their best player, and he had the biggest reception in the Philippines. They love the Lakers over there. Any country internationally, I know you're talking about America's team, it's always going to be the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, it just is.
All right, you
if I
guys
wasn't
have
a
voiced
Laker
your
fan.
opinion. I disagree. Anyone that watches this that can back me up, post, comment, back me up here. David, I have a very important question for you. Have you been to San Francisco? Have you been to Chinatown there?
I have.
In your opinion, is the Chinese food better in Chinatown, San Francisco, or in Chinatown, Los Angeles?
I gotta give it up to San Francisco.
Okay, let's end there with that topic. Let's
Wait. Can I say one more thing? Then I want you to end on your note. But which team has a show on HBO and which team doesn't?
And I was just asking about the food, man.
I'm just saying, man.
Can I ask one question?
We have a whole show dedicated to the Lakers.
That Chinese food,
I
though,
haven't
in
seen
San Francisco. That Chinese food.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, you can ask many questions. What do you got?
Who's better, Magic or Kerr? I'll leave it there.
Oh,
Are you hosting? Why don't you? You know what? No. That's just Why don't you host next week, and that'll be one of your questions. That's your team.
Okay, all right. Let's save that. I know my answer for that. I think you guys do, but I'm sure we have different answers for that.
It kind of goes back to that whole legacy thing.
Let's stay on the Warriors train. Since 2012, only one team has had 3 players that have played together and are still together: Draymond, Steph, and Clay. What's happening in the NBA right now? Why isn't there tenure? Why aren't we seeing Jordan and Pippen and Stockton and Malone, Payton and Kemp? I don't know about you guys, but I miss the duos of staying together, working it out, and playing. I'm not a big fan of being traded and leaving. I want to get your thoughts on why today's NBA is so different compared to what we had in the past of having longevity. I mean, we talk about the Sonics, Hershey Hawkins, Deadlift Shrimp, Byron Russell with Utah, and again, Stockton, Malone, Hornacek. You had these teams, and now everyone's together for 2 or 3 years. How do you feel like that's affecting the NBA? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Just give me as I drink my beer, a beer for your thoughts. Let's start with Raul here.
Yeah, this is a good topic. I think there's a lot of key factors. One of the factors is definitely player empowerment in terms of their own brand, right? With social media, players are not just players playing basketball. They are a whole brand, and everything they do, where they live, what partnerships they're able to obtain because of their location or contacts. It all makes a difference into how much money, that wealth that they're going to accumulate, generational. And before anybody tells me, about, oh, well, it's not about the money, it's not about the players. We live in the United States of America. Everything is about the money. Repeat that. Everything is about the money. I will never get mad at anybody who wants to go chase after their money. And that's okay with me. That's the world we live in. So I think that's part of it. The second part of it is let's talk about marriage. Let's talk about, like, you know, social media. Why? I'm not sure what the stats are now and then, but I bet more relationships are at risk because there's just more options, right? People are like, oh, I'm online. Oh, I got this. And before social media, it was like, oh, I love you, you love me, we're having a good marriage. I don't really see any other options. We're gonna ride this thing out. But as you have more and more options, you want to explore more and more. And that is what's happened in the NBA. And this is why LeBron is the GOAT and Jordan is not. Their level of competition has gone from here to here, to the point where we need a G League, to the point where international basketball is super competitive, that we can't beat them with our B or C team, to the point where basketball has flourished. There's so much basketball around us. And it's good basketball. There's a lot of player options. So why wouldn't I go, right? If you're looking at Scotty and Jordan, they're like, well, let's take a look around. Whose team am I going to? Well, Magic, they're set. They got their Penny, they got their Shaq. Knicks got their Ewing, they got their Starks. But who can I really go to, right? And so I think it's some of that. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff in the collective bargaining agreement that impacted this as well. I know the new agreement that was signed for the next 7 years is going to try to increase more parity by taxing teams that go over, like the Clippers, Gons. Like Ballmer has no issues with spending, even if he goes into the luxury tax. Well, now, even if you go to the luxury tax, they take away certain things. You can't take back more money in a trade. You can't sign certain free agents. So there's penalties for going over luxury tax outside of just paying the luxury tax. So I think that will help to, like, stop a little bit of the movement. And then that's what they want. They want a little more parity. Sorry,
Matt,
long answers. Apologize.
Matt, why
it's
don't
just
you
a
go
lot to
next
explain.
here?
I need to go off. David, can you go on? Can you take this one? There's some stuff I need to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, bro. I said a lot of stuff that I was gonna say. So
I apologize.
Let me
I'm
cover
sorry.
some different. I think too. You said it's all about the money. So players are securing the bag. You know, they're getting that. They're signing their extensions and then asking for trades afterwards. So that's been a big trend lately. And then also, you know, players have control of their brand. You no longer need to be in a like a big city. So you could always get your money, and now the players are kind of in control of where they go. They're only loyal to their pockets, and if they want to win, they're gonna move. Just like kind of what Giannis is doing right now. He's leveraging, you know, his contract to get the team better. So at the end of the day, Giannis is the one in control, not the team.
Matt wraps up.
Number one, chip culture right now is absolutely insane. When it comes to social media, like Raul said, you have a lot of people. If you unless you win, then you're really nothing, right? You have to win the championship. Like it's not good enough to make it deep in the playoffs. It's not good enough to make it to the finals. You have to win the championship, and because of that pressure, you have someone like a Kevin Durant. Like that's 2015. You mentioned 2012, 2015. He moves to Golden State and they win 2 chips rather easily. So if you're looking at player movement and trying to form like super teams, that's the guy you kind of look towards, like a Kevin Durant. And even before that, LeBron James, he formed his super team down in Miami. Now you talk about the 90s, right? You talk about your Paytons and your Kemps, but Payton and Kemp, they lasted 92 to about 96. They lost in 97, and then John Kemp got pissed off for a contract and wanted to get traded. So there was still contract stuff in the 90s and the 2000s. You're looking at Shaq with Orlando. Imagine if they kept that team together to go against the Bulls. They lost Horace Grant for that series against the Bulls in 96. Why couldn't they keep it together? Because Shaq wanted to get more money in LA. So that team could have stayed together. So the fact that players want to move around and try to win championships is also not just today. It happened in the 90s, happened in the 2000s. It's just right now because social media, people are more pressured to try to win championships, try to win it all. How many rings do you have? That's the ring culture that's invaded social media. So that's really my answer. It's how many rings have you won?
But I get it. I miss those. Like, we're never gonna see the Kobe, even the Currys, ride it out with one team, the Dirk Nowitzki, and the legacy that builds for the city, and, you know, the boulevard named after the player.
But Kobe wanted to get traded too, remember? Remember when
that's true. You're
before
right.
Pau
Kobe,
Gasol, he was like, get me. I'd rather play on Pluto than play with this team.
yeah, he
So
was
it's
ready
not
to go
like
to the
he was
Clippers.
super loyal because he wanted to go play in Chicago after that ordeal with Shaq. So
Sure.
as much as we want to deify Kobe and we all love Kobe, he did want to leave the Lakers twice at least. So
Yeah, and he made it very public.
exactly.
That's right.
It was also leverage for the Lakers to make some big moves too.
Just like Giannis. Yeah. And I think that's what Giannis is doing. Ultimately, he's going to sign the extension. But I think once players figure out, some of them, how valuable they are, not just to the team, but to the businesses in the city and the metro, like they are huge. When LeBron left Cleveland, that economy goes down. When Giannis leaves Milwaukee, the economy, the people like that work there, the people work at the bars, the teams that pay to bring clients into games, like all of that stuff is gone, right? It's no one's doing all that stuff. So he knows how much value, how much he's bringing, a lot more than he's getting paid.
Yeah, and he was signing those 2-year deals where he had the option every year, so he continued leveraging his brand every year so he can get the team, so they wouldn't get complacent and just put anyone.
And the old guys are just hating that their agents took all their money instead of teaching them all this, and and taking advantage of the brand. and I think social media makes it, of course, a lot easy. But when the old guys hate on the money these guys are getting, sorry, you should have managed your money better. Should have talked to the right people.
All right, let's get on to our last topic. This is going to be a little TMZ Gons. Every time I'm the host, we're going to talk a little TMZ. Believe it or not, in 2020, James Harden was in love. He wasn't always a stripper fan, crazed man. He was in love with a woman named Jalen, who he believed was the one. In fact, he was having a party, and he walked in on Kelly Oubre and Jalen. Now, they went on to date, Kelly Oubre and Jalen, for 2.5 years and tied the knot. They called their love long-term love. This ultimately crushed James Harden. And ever since, they say he's not a believer of love. He won't date. And the amount of money he's invested in strippers in the last 3 years is astronomical. Not to mention his game has been on a decline. Is this relative? Let's start with you, David. Is all relative of losing the love of his life? Is this affecting his game? Can it? Or is it all coincidental that he's been on the decline?
I think it's just more coincidence. I mean, he's had some injuries that have affected his game too. So you can't ignore that part of it too.
David, have you had any bad breakups?
Couple.
Okay. Now, after those breakups, could you say you were the same if you had to perform as an athlete at a high level intensity? Would you say you were the same like after that happened? Because I'll tell you this, man, I've had my heart breaking, and I became a slut after. I really did. And I it messed with me. So I'm gonna ask you again: is this coincidental, or does this impact him at all?
Me personally, I became a better man after each breakup. So, of course, there was some depression, a little sadness, But after that, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna improve this version of me, and each time I've gotten better. And so I don't agree with that. Me personally.
Okay. All right. And for all you viewers out there, David is in love right now and is in a very happy relationship. So congrats to you on that. Raul, let's go to you here. Do you think this impacted him at all, man?
I think that James Harden is who James Harden is, regardless of breakups before and after. I don't think he started going to strip clubs after the breakups. I don't think he started not putting in 110% into his game post breakup. Did it impact him? If that's your question, yes. I think mental health definitely impacts you, and how you handle it and what you choose to do from it is different for everybody. But yes, absolutely it affected him, but I just think that's who he is.
Matt, Kelly Oubre just signed with the Sixers.
I was just about to say that too. Daryl Morey, who's feuding with James Harden. Oh my gosh!
He doesn't want to be on the team.
Fired by Daryl Morey.
Right,
sure.
Right. That's a good point.
He thinks it's impacting him. Matt, why don't you wrap us up with this last topic, and then we'll get to our last. If we have any further comments.
Yeah. So Yes, it is affecting him. Marul's correct. Mental health is a thing, especially now that he's your new teammate. Yeah, there's no way he's going to be coming back to the 76ers. James Harden, he was like David said, he was slowly on the decline 2020, but it kind of the definitely didn't help. So I would say yes, and I don't see James Harden coming back. I guess hopefully the next episode we have is maybe James Harden traded, because man, that's crazy. But Oubre being on the team now that Harden's on, crazy.
All right, guys, that's all I have. If any of you guys want to have any final thoughts, we'll go around a circle here. Why don't we start with you, Matt? Then we'll go to Dave and then Rahul. Any final thoughts on what you?
Emo Jimmy Butler? What the heck was that? Like, that was what I was going to mention last time. Like, who's the real emo guy? Is it James Harden because of he was swooning over that girl that Kelly Oubre got? But look at his head. That was just crazy. From training camp or from media day yesterday, Jimmy Butler coming in with that emo haircut, emo. It was pretty funny. That's mine for today.
I did see that. It was pretty funny. David?
Yeah, I think Jimmy's just trolling the media because they kept saying he was sad that he didn't get Dame, and then the Celtics, they improved. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens with Harden. I think maybe Miami, who knows, but we'll see.
Rahul?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to end it. I'm very interested in what happens with the 76ers. The Heat kind of just let things go by. The other two made moves. So what are the Sixers going to do? Let's see what happens. Hopefully by next week we have some answers.
All right, guys, you don't got to go home, but you got to get the heck out of the hoop bar. We are closed. Thank you for staying in and